Well, hi there and welcome to Home Wizards. I'm Cindy Dole.
Hey, I'm Eric Stromer.
And we love to improve your home and improve your life. And as you're walking through your home today, or your apartment, or wherever you call home,
Your dwelling.
I hope that you will take a pen and a notepad and just kind of assign, like, what do you do in that room? You know what I mean? Like, if you come up with what the activities, what the purpose of that room is, this is going to help you really declutter your entire place.
Not to mention the plan view of that room, and within each room there's also going to be areas that you do other things as well. So like if you have a living room, there could be a TV area, there could be a game area, so you have to break that down also, right? So it's just about looking at that space. What do I do here? What's the flow of this room? And then that is the key to what?
Clutter busting.
And organization. That's exactly what it is.
Because too many of us, the room becomes, well, let's just say it's multi-purpose.
And it you know what? It becomes overrun with things and stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
And so then you go, wait a minute, these books and magazines don't belong here because I read over in this other room.
That's exactly it. And if there's no destination or place that you've created to then put the stuff back to that area, guess what?
You got a
Chaos ensues.
Stressful, really.
Yeah.
Like for me, when I come home, the very first thing, when I see the kitchen counter and it's got like more than, like I have a little plant in a vase there. And if I start to see mail, my notebook that I just brought in from doing things throughout the day, a jacket,
it's like
keys.
it's like time-lapse photography of total failure. Isn't it?
Totally, it
really
becomes
is.
like this buffet of stress.
Yeah.
I would rather I want to see a clean slate and just a little vase with some flowers.
And then I unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but I have the aspect.
Fortunately,
fortunately,
have a lot of kids.
I have the aspect where I put something down and then it's either taken away, like forks. I was telling you the other day, we could not find any forks. And so I cleaned out the car to go on this camping trip just a few days ago, and I found 7 forks on the floor of the car. So I have these children who love to take things out in the garden or take them to put them in other spaces, and then everything that I'm trying to do is completely undermined by the goblins that live within my home called the Stromer children.
Love it.
Yes. So they cause havoc, but it's awesome. It's awesome.
So let's talk about how you can clutter bust your world and your home, because it is still spring cleaning time.
Right.
And I think that is the best tip, is to start with that pad and that pen, no matter whether you have a small apartment or condo or you have a large home. Just really walk through and go room by room, and like on the top of the paper, just say, okay, living room. Okay, what do you do? Is this where you watch TV and read? Or maybe this is where you entertain? Or do you use your laptop there, or what?
And if you can, and again, look at it in terms of quadrants, for example, or consider the room to be like a book. This is kind of a cool analogy. You look at the room as a book, and then, the things that are in the drawers are the paragraphs, and then the things that are in the bags are the sentences, and then the things that are within the minutia of the bags are the words, right? So it's all broken down. You can look at that room or that quadrant or that wall from left to right so you don't get overwhelmed, because I don't know about you, but I'll walk into a room and my eyes travel all over, and I go to one area and then I walk back to another, and I'm trying to take care of all these regions. But if you really kind of stay tracking left to right, top to bottom, if it's in a drawer, a wall, a cubby area, whatever it is, I think that's a really good way to kind of keep order.
It may be even just like not only go left to right, but start in that upper far left corner.
Right,
and that's
exactly.
where you start.
That's
Assign a beginning, because then you'll be just kind of spinning like a tornado, won't you?
That's what happens to me, and then pretty soon I'm going, and it, like for a guy with sort of ADD stuff going on, it's like I'm a pinball machine, right? And I'm going 55 different places. You don't kind of address that one area and take care of it and move on to the next. You just end up going 50 miles an hour and have no focus whatsoever.
So now you're more stressed than the original.
That's right.
Clutter effect, because now you're just kind of spinning, right? So you want to give yourself that opportunity. And by the way, I love the old school kitchen timer too. If you just wind up that old, fashioned kind of a timer where it goes tick, 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 give yourself just 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And assign that.
And then you have to move on.
And
after
you have
that.
to move on.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
So step one, try to do that. If you haven't done it today, do it for sure sometime over the weekend, throughout the week. Give yourself that walk through and assessment with a piece of paper and a pen. And then as you make notes on what you do in every room, and then keep that somewhere, then you can always go back and go, oh, wait a minute. This is not where I'm supposed to keep change, like coins.
This is where the fondue's supposed to go to entertain the people. This isn't where the change thing
no,
is.
I don't like the change thing. Drives me nuts.
That's
too.
right.
Anyway.
Oh man.
Yeah.
We need to do away with change and just digital points or something. I think that would work.
So in fact we have this large glass urn that stands on the floor, and so that can become the change collector, because now not only are you over time saving money that you didn't realize because it adds up, right? But it becomes like a nice,
just to get
organized dumping ground.
Yes, I know. I agree.
Yeah. So cleaning out to donate is always, that's an obvious for any kind of declutter and organization. But I think if you were to, as you're assigning activity for every room, also have like a basket or like a laundry basket or some kind of a collecting device, right, for every room, and it stays in that room.
Yeah. You mean to kind of almost like when you see it at department stores, they've got like a hamper on wheels for when people try stuff on, then leave it in a pile. Then the employees take it all, put it in that basket, and then refold everything and then put it back in its place. It's kind of it's taking a lesson from retail, which I think does a great job at organizing things.
Yeah. So have that. It can be on wheels or just a plain basket, or any kind of, just a collection device.
Right.
And then maybe even label it like, this is your family room basket. And so now, not only is it a place to put like odds and ends that need to be dispersed to where they really belong, but maybe it could become, that's the donation. Like, let's say that you've spent your 20 minutes and you've now, you're in the bedroom, let's say, and you see a bunch of things. Maybe it's books, maybe it's clothing, and you put it in now. It's in a donation basket, and it's all ready to go.
Right. Yeah, and now we're getting into the psychology of clothes not fitting anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a whole nother ball of wax, because that's where you get hoarding issues, because you think you're going to get into the 40 regular that you wore when you were 17 in high school. You're probably not going to get back into it, and it's probably completely out of style. However, having said that,
if you're a fasting guy like you're the fasting thin guy.
Ties, though. Ties, you can't. They come in, they come, they go. There's so much to talk about.
We have more to help you out with in terms of decluttering room to room. You're listening to Home Wizards. Eric Stromer, Cindy Dolan. By the way, check us out on our website, yourhomewizards.com.
What a beautiful mess I'm making.
Welcome back. You're listening to Home Wizards. I'm Cindy Dole.
I'm Eric Stromer.
Thanks for hanging with us, because we love to make you feel good about the place you call home. And if you're sitting right now in your living room, or you're driving around thinking about, oh my gosh, when I get back home, there's all this mess I've got to deal with, fear no more. We're going to help you clutter bust till the cows come home.
And give you some ideas on how to create destinations, which is key in organization and clutter busting. I think it's just about finding a place where it all goes. If you know where it goes, especially when I watch my kids, if they know where the thing goes, then we have a fighting chance to keep order in that area. So I think that's a really good first step.
So as we are going through, we've already taken a pad of paper and we've walked through our place, and we've made a list of what we do in these rooms. And we've already decided that now that we know what we do in those rooms, then there's certain things, from change to books to whatever, that don't belong there, bicycle, whatever.
Right.
Now we know that we're going to walk from left to right in every room and spend maybe 20 minutes with the timer on, and start to gradually get rid of stuff that isn't belonging in that room.
Right. And let me give a great example of what to do in terms of writing down what you do in this room. So, for example, in my family room is essentially a kitchen where we cook, obviously.
It's a great room. It's an open combo room.
And then in the center, there's an island, and that is an eating station and homework/art desk. And then off to the left, there's an art area where all the art supplies ultimately go back to. And then on the other side of that room is the TV area, where there's, Game Boy equipment and remotes and blah, blah, blah. And then there's another area where there's like toys and kid stuff to play with, right? So there's literally like 6 sections within one room. So if you can kind of create, and it would almost be like, how do I design a system where I could tell a stranger who comes into this house right now, here's how this room works. There's 5-6 different areas. All things go back to those areas when we're done. So when we have to keep order, this is how we do it. Now there's a destination or places to put all that stuff. I know it seems simple and rudimentary, but it really does work, because then you have trackable areas almost like filing systems, like in a computer, right? When you open up a file, there's like 4 different windows it ultimately goes to. It's the same exact concept in organization and home order, right? So I think that's kind of a real great simple way to look at it.
No, it feels really good. Like,
Yeah.
look, that's a good idea. Look
Yeah.
at your room also as a computer with folders.
There you go. That's it.
Like it's your desktop.
Exactly.
And you're looking at
Exactly.
your desktop, and who wants to have a cluttered desktop?
Not
You
me.
want to see your screensaver with maybe one thing that says to do.
Yeah.
That's it.
And that's it. You open it up, and then there's like 900 things in it, obviously. But having said that, at least you've got a system.
Yeah, but then like if in the great room at Eric's house, you've got the toy area, and you've got the art area, the food area, the Game Boy area. I mean, that's great because then there's a folder
Yeah.
for each thing.
That's it.
awesome.
Yeah,
In terms of tossing things, though, too, because as you go through the week and the months and so forth, and can you believe we're already well into spring? I mean, you have to always be thinking about downsizing, right? And you know, having a system of always of reevaluating and knowing that some of these things have to go,
Right.
right?
Yes.
So if you don't love it, you're going to need to, you know, quickly get rid of some of these things. So, for instance, in your closet, the next time you're putting your laundry away or your dry cleaning away, you know, you grab an armful of clothes, just grab maybe just the first armful you can get and just try them on.
There you go.
And try them on in a full-length mirror if you can, and then put the ones and ask yourself, would you buy it again today?
And when you do that trying on, have a little stool next to you, a place where you can sit down and then start crying and saying, why, oh, why has this happened to me? Why don't these pants close around that area there, that part of me? Doggone it.
Doggone
I
it.
can't wear this anymore. It's not 1982. Shoulder pads are not back. Yeah.
So if you could just every weekend just grab, you know, when you're putting your laundry and dry cleaning away, just grab an armful that you see in there, you know, especially things you haven't worn, you can't remember wearing them for a while, just maybe 5 to 10 things. Try them on and only put the things back in the closet that you for sure would buy again today. So that's
right.
the hard question. Forget about that you spent a lot of money on it, or, hey, you know, it might fit me again later, or those are my skinny jeans that I'll help to fit in again later. You know, the idea is, would you buy them again, and do you look great in them, and then the rest donate?
Yeah, and even if you can get back into them someday, they're probably not going to be in style.
Right.
So
And if you haven't worn them for a while, you
Yeah.
probably aren't. I mean, especially if you haven't worn them for 6 months. You know?
that's a good point.
Yeah.
And it's also a great time to go through. Maybe it would be less tempting to keep if it's now spring and you're looking at the winter clothes you just went through in that season.
Yeah.
That would be a good time to deal with the winter clothes because you know you're not going to be trying to get that stuff on now. It's summertime coming into summer. So maybe work backwards to the season before because it won't be as psychologically scarring when you have to throw out the fancy tweed coat that you think you're going to wear because it's getting cold again.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
And especially, too, if, you know, you're on a diet, let's say, and you're hoping to get back into that size. Well, maybe save 2 things that were that skinnier version of you just to kind of dream and
the
stay,
best representative of that garment.
But you don't want to just have all these things that are either too big or too small because it's just, I mean, your real estate is prime in your closet.
Absolutely, yes it is.
You know, we never have enough.
And then you can think of it this way. If I get rid of all this stuff, I can buy more. You can do it that way if you want.
No. Now to the kitchen. Putting apples with apples and oranges with oranges. The idea of what you own, like grouping things together, like your utensil drawer as a model.
Yeah.
You know, you have your forks, your knives, your spoons. The same can be said with cooking tools. But then how many wooden spoons do you have and how many do you really need?
There's no question.
You
I
might
have
have
too
a few-
many.
you might have
And
a few
one
extra.
of them actually looks like a
It's burnt maybe? Or
a
it's-
warlock's magic potion stirring spoon because it's bent and warped because it's been in the dishwasher too many times.
Or maybe the times you made blueberry pancakes and that blue stained the rubber,
That's right.
you know, spatula.
If you have 5 of something, pare down, get rid of
Yeah.
the worst of them, keep the best one.
Yeah. So
and,
really,
and to that too, the drawers, they get so cluttered. You may want to think about just getting things that sit on top of the counter where you can put the spoons, the whisks, all that stuff in one, spatulas in another, that kind of a thing. So it's not all crammed into one little drawer.
it's all about the function, right,
Yes.
of that particular
Like a
thing.
restaurant kitchen almost, right?
Very much
Same
so.
kind of organization.
Now, in terms of also in the kitchen, another good tip is, you know, you want to make sure that your drawers, there's so many great little insets that you can get for your drawer utensils, for your for your spices, for all that stuff, because that's going to help you too. Because if it doesn't fit in your drawer, then it's time to get rid of some of these things.
Like the great Johnny Cochran said, if it doesn't fit, you must acquit. And that applies to storage containers for spices as well.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, back to the landing area. When you first walk into your house, junk mail is a constant battle, right? And
Yes.
so here's a good tip. The minute that you get into your house, you walk through the front door, put the junk mail immediately into a recycling bin. Just take note of the natural flow of mail in your home. If you put a recycling container right by your mail drop-off zone, it'll catch most of the junk mail before it ever gets to your home office, your
That's
counter,
a great idea.
whatever.
How many glossy pictures of realtors can we have on our kitchen counter?
They're so good looking,
They
though.
really are handsome.
And with calendars.
And attractive, I might say, yeah.
Another good idea, as you're really clutter bustering, throughout your entire home, take time to fill your containers for the garbage man. Use every trash pickup day as an excuse to fill your recycling containers.
That's a great idea.
And or garbage cans.
Yes.
Grab a box of old junk from the attic.
Yep.
Or old toys from the toy room, or old food from the pantry, and old paperwork from the office. And if once a week is too often, maybe every other week, and then you get the hang of it, and guess what? Over a year's time, you are really decluttered.
You've actually maybe given too much away and you don't have anything left, and that's a good sign.
I know.
Right?
What about downsizing your decorations, too?
Oh,
I know.
That is something I have to definitely
So, and
do.
I don't mean just holiday decorations. I mean the tchotchkes throughout your home. So grab a box, walk through your living room, maybe take certain little, statuettes, little candle holders, little things you have on the shelves. If they aren't totally beautiful or meaningful, you may like it better than you think. And if not, you can always put it back. So if you grab it and you put it all in this little box,
Right.
And then you just selectively put the things back to their place, guess what? You're going to feel like it's less stressful, right? Less cluttered.
There's no question. And then we got to talk about the garage, too. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother world of hurt, because we often use that as storage rather than where the cars should go. And if you can kind of conceptually think of keeping the ability in the garage to actually pull a car in there, that's going to make you have to give up some of that valuable real estate that's the center of the garage floor, which is when we kind of get overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can always imagine that I have to pull this car, and even if you don't, I think that gives you a great idea in terms of kind of breaking that whole room down. But
Things can't be on the
that's
floor.
an overwhelming room.
I know.
And people get frozen with the garage. So, take some time to really think about doing that. And that's a good place to start with that
Downsizing.
that quadrant idea of like starting left and going right.
And finish a magazine or newspaper, process it or recycle it immediately. If you finish any kind of paper product, rid yourself of clutter immediately. If there's a good recipe in the magazine, we'll put it in your recipe box, recycle the rest, right?
There you go.
You can always
keep
find
the
it
whole, You don't
online.
need the whole magazine.
Anyway, we have more great tips to help you, because that's what we love to do, Home Wizards. We love to improve your home and improve your life.